Welcome back to Who Is on MagicUntapped.com and Magic Untapped right here on YouTube. I am Barry White. This time around, we're going to talk about a Magic the Gathering villain who was around a long time ago. In fact, he disappeared for about 30 years and then came back pretty recently to continue his dastardly deeds with Magic the Gathering. So, without further ado, here is Kaervek.
Who is it?
Who is this?
Who is it?
Who is this?
Who is it?
Hailing from the dark continent of Urborg, the ambitious Kaervek became talented with magic at an early age. He desired, someday, to be the ruler of a vast kingdom. Life on the Burning Isles, however, was harsh, and there were already dozens of warlords and would-be rulers to contend with. At some point, Kaervek noticed a huge surge of magical energy from the nearby Shaza Isles off the coast of northwestern Jamura. He set sail in the direction of where he felt the surge to not only find its cause, but, more importantly, see if it's something he could use to his advantage. What the Warlock didn't know, however, was that this energy surge was the result of a temporal experiment the Tolarian Academy-educated Time Mage and Planeswalker, Teferi, had performed that wound up accidentally, temporarily removing the entire atoll from the time stream. Thus, when Kaervek arrived at where the energy was the strongest, all he found was a barren, large rock surrounded by seawater. He did, however, also encounter two others who had arrived to investigate the energy surge. Mungara of the Whitewoods, a diplomat mage from the nearby continent of Corondor, and Jolreal, a mage from the Monvaldi jungles on the mainland of Jamura. The three made one another's acquaintance, and the trio decided to venture to Jamura together. Once there, Kaervek made the decision to ally himself with Jolreal, as the two would travel around the continent together. Mungara, ever the politician, ventured to the capital of the nearby kingdom of Zalfir, where he brokered peace between warring factions and made quite the name for himself while doing so. Kaervek, upon learning that Mungara had, at least from the Warlock's point of view, taken control of Zalfir while he and Jamura were traveling, convinced the Monvaldi mage that Mungara means to take over all of Jamura. Together, the Warlock and the Jungle Mage planned their next move. War began slowly at first, with increased aggression from wild animals and attacks from minor spirits. These proved as good distractions for Kaervek as he infiltrated the Council of Voices in the Femorif capital within the borders of Zalfir. There, he summoned a terrible Night Stalker from Urborg known as the Spirit of the Night, which quickly and quietly wiped out the entire ruling council and spirited away Mungara, whom Kaervek then trapped within a prison of amber back in Monvaldi. Mungara now no longer a threat to him, the Warlock called upon even more forces from Urborg, including his longtime ally and right-hand general, Mirage, as Jolreal allied herself with the lizard men known as Viashino, along with the terrible dragons they commanded. With these forces, Kaervek and Jolreal waged war against the kingdoms of Zalfir, Sukata, and Femorif. It was a war that the allied Jamuran kingdoms were losing. Then, the enormous energy surge that had originally lured the Warlock out towards Jamura to begin with returned. Once again, drawn to its origin, Kaervek led his small armada back to its source and prepared to attack what would end up being Teferi's Isle. Jolreal, however, had grown weary of Kaervek's ambitions and obsessions. While his fleet was out in the Kunkumsa Sea near Teferi's Isle, Jolreal ambushed him and severely injured him. The Warlock then fled to the nearby Urisk marshes as Teferi, in defense of the atoll he called home, scuttled his fleet. At the same time, the Sidar, or General, of the Zalfir forces, Asmira, led a rescue effort to free Mungara. The rescue was a success, though it cost Asmira her life as both she and Kaervek's main general, Mirage, were lost in a flash of light upon freeing the diplomat mage from his amber prison. Not too long after, Mungara was able to locate the injured Kaervek, trapping him in the very prison of amber in which the Warlock had him imprisoned. Mungara then took the amber prison to the floating fortress city of Aku for safekeeping. Roughly a decade later, When the plane of Phyrexia made their invasion of Dominaria as a whole, Teferi phased out the entirety of Zhalfir, Aku included, as a means of protecting the land and its people. And that was that. Or at least, it was for nearly 450 years, when, during New Phyrexia's simultaneous multi-plane invasion of the bulk of the multiverse, a connection was made courtesy of the Dryad Planeswalker Wrenn after she bonded with the Realmbreaker, the plane connecting tree the new Phyrexians were using as a bridge, or omen path, between worlds for their invasion. With her help, she and Teferi, whom had found his way back to Zhalfir after himself becoming lost in the time stream, allowed Zhalfir to become a plane in its own right, supplanting New Phyrexia upon it losing the war. Kaervek, now freed from the Amber prison thanks to the effects of the war, took the opportunity to slip away from Zhalfir through one of the new omen paths that the Realmbreaker had opened. The Warlock found himself on a rather lawless plane known simply as Thunder Junction. There, he was recruited by the mischievous Fey planeswalker Oko to take part in a heist on a mysterious vault known as Tog Tarano. The vault, as Kaervek would determine, was ancient, perhaps even more so than the artifacts of the Thran, the oldest known and extinct civilization on his home plane of Dominaria. Once at the vault, Kaervek was tasked with using a centuries-old magic to disable the wards off the vault's entrance. But a trap was set off by the heist's benefactor, whom, it would be discovered, was the planeswalker Jace Beleren. He got what he came for, a mysterious infant creature who had been lying in suspended animation, and left, along with Vraska, his mole within the outlaw troop. After fighting their way out of the collapsing vault, the bandits regrouped at Oko's hideout, where the Fey planeswalker admitted that he had no way of paying them for the job. Insulted and enraged, Kaervek warned Oko that if he did not find Jason Vraska, the consequences for him would be dire.
And that's where the story of Kaervek ends. Well, at least for now, in this current story arc, we still have 2 or so sets to go before things move on. So there's a chance we still might see Kaervek sometime in the relative near future. So we will all find out together. Well, thank you very much for watching this Who Is on Magic Untapped. I am Barry White. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe. Also, we have a Patreon tip jar if you want to support the channel that way. See you next time.